Ed Gonzalez, Harris County Sheriff. Our hearts are broken as we announce the passing of our Deputy Robert Adam Howard, who succumbed to his injuries after a crash that occurred this afternoon. So our hearts are very heavy at this moment. We're devastated that we're losing such a great teammate, described as a workhorse, described as having great personality, funny and just outgoing, wonderful friends. We have a lot of heavy hearts here today. What we know is that this afternoon he was traveling northbound on 249 near Spring Cypress. There was an 18-wheeler that was parked on the shoulder of the roadway, if you will. Wasn't blocking a moving lane of traffic or anything, was parked on the shoulder. And our deputy, it appears at this point, preliminarily clipped the rear of the 18-wheeler. It was a pretty horrific impact, and he eventually will succumb to his injuries. So at this point, we're just here. There'll be plenty of time to investigate what occurred. But again, our hearts are broken. We're here to console his family. He leaves behind a wife. He leaves behind a mother and father, a sister, cousins, extended family, and of course his family in blue as well. I'm told that as he left his home earlier today to get to work, his last act was to play with his 2-year-old daughter. You know, just carrying her and embracing her, and like so many of us do that suit up every day and go to work, and we depart not knowing if we're going to make it back home. He was working, he was serving the residents of Harris County, and so again, our hearts are broken today, especially as we begin National Police Week, as well as we honor our fallen in DC and around the country. Today we're losing one more, and when we lose a deputy, it's not only the loss for the agency, it's also the loss for the community, because we've lost one more crime fighter, one more hero that puts their life on the line every day. I want to thank the staff here, the wonderful medical staff at Memorial Hermann in the Woodlands. The entire Memorial Hermann community and facilities are always so welcoming to us and always give us their very best. They did everything they could in terms of life-saving measures, but it wasn't to be. Also want to thank the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office that's already here ascending on the location, because they will be assisting us in escorting us to the Montgomery County Medical Examiner's Office. So we'll be beginning shortly with a cordon of honor, escorting him to the Medical Examiner's Office. I also want to thank Chief Finner and the Houston Police Department, and also Assistant Chief Satterwhite that's here as well. We always come together as a law enforcement family, support one another. It happens far too often, unfortunately, these days, but I want to thank Chief Satterwhite for being here as well. Chief Finner called as well to extend his support and condolences as well. And of course, we have Judge Lina Hidalgo with Harris County that's also here. You know, he's an employee and a public servant for all of Harris County. And Judge, thank you for being here today. What did you say for yours?
Well, it's a sad day for Harris County, and I am deeply saddened. We are deeply saddened to hear of the loss of Deputy Howard. He leaves behind clearly a loving family. We were just visiting with them, absolutely crushed. And as we remember Deputy Howard, and we see these officers here behind me, it's just a moment to mourn, to remember him, to pray for his family, but also for all of us in Harris County to remember that these folks are out there day after day in our streets, patrolling every corner of the county. We're going to find out exactly what happened here, as the sheriff said, but the point is they are out there putting their lives at risk. And we have to remember that, we have to recognize that. And we are very, very saddened. And on behalf of Harris County, we appreciate the incredible service of Deputy Howard, and our hearts are with his family.
Estoy muy triste, me entristece mucho la muerte del oficial Howard. Es un día difícil para todos nosotros y es momento de recordar también no solo a su familia, tiene una familia muy grande, acabo de visitar con ellos, obviamente están completamente devastados, muy tristes y hay que rezar por ellos, pedir por ellos, pero también reconocer el sacrificio que hacen todos estos oficiales. los oficiales aquí tras mío, el oficial Howard, tantos como él que todos los días trabajan en cada esquina de nuestro condado. Ya se sabrá exactamente qué sucedió, pero el punto es que ellos trabajan en nuestras calles, situaciones difíciles, situaciones peligrosas, y en lo que pedimos por la familia, también recordar ese sacrificio. Entonces, en nombre de todo el condado Harris, le enviamos un abrazo, mucho amor a esta familia y agradecimiento a los oficiales de ley que trabajan día y noche por proteger a nuestra comunidad.
Chief, you want to say something for Houston Police? Chief Satterwhite on behalf of the Houston Police Department.
Yeah, so our hearts are heavy for our brothers and sisters with Harris County. We just recently lost another deputy with Harris County, and now we've lost another one. And at this point, it's hard to know. We all know that there's a possibility of these things happening as we suit up every day and we go out, but we really don't think about it because the job is to take care of everybody else. So in times like these, the best thing we can do is we just come together, support our brothers and sisters, help them through this, and then go to work the next day and just keep doing the job. So on behalf of Chief Fenner and Mayor Turn and the City of Houston and Houston Police Department, we will stand by you, and we will be there for whatever you need.
Thank you, Chief. And the timing of it, just this morning we honored our motorcycle unit because we were highlighting just how often they have to provide escorts, and they do it so superbly, and so here we are again. That same unit will be here today escorting their fallen brother. I also want to just add that there was a little bit of chaos because we did have two crashes that occurred. There was the initial one that we're talking about that led to the death of our deputy. There was a secondary crash. It wasn't directly related with the initial crash, but it did occur during the escort to this site, which was a hospital. We don't know if it was an actual collision or if the deputy may have just fallen from his motorcycle, but he is in fair condition. He's also being treated for injuries here at this very hospital, but he is in fair condition. He's going to survive. It was just during the escort, but again, we do thank him and trying to make sure that he got him out here as quickly as possible to try all life-saving measures. And just very briefly in Spanish, estamos aquí, como dijo la juez, para apoyar a la familia que está derrotada en este momento. Nosotros hemos perdido un héroe más en nuestra comunidad, el oficial Howard, de solamente 27 años. Era un padre, era un hijo, era un amigo para todos nosotros y era un gran agente de policía para nosotros. Entonces estamos derrotados, pero vamos a seguir adelante, nos vamos a apoyar a la familia y le agradecemos al público por todo su apoyo. Any questions? It's my understanding he was tagging some evidence related to his work, so I don't know if he was going to do that or had already completed that, or if he was going to do that or on his way from that, and then they were getting ready to begin an operation. He was a member of our gang unit, which is a very elite group that is going after some of the worst criminals in our community. So again, he was described by his colleagues as being a workhorse, and typically they are. That's why they are assigned to elite units such as that, a specialized unit like that. And so it's a tremendous loss for our community.
Yeah. You know how long he had been with the Sheriff's Department?
It's my understanding he had come over from a previous agency in 2019, so he had been with us now for a couple of years. I'm not very clear on how many years of service he had prior in law enforcement, but he had been with the Sheriff's Office for 2 years. But his experience and service goes far beyond that.
And as far as the accident, you mentioned he was the one that clipped the 18-wheeler?
Correct. That's the information we have. I haven't gone out to the scene, so my focus was here on the family. But it's my understanding he clipped the rear of the 18-wheeler that was parked on the shoulder, and that's the information. We had obviously. The 18-wheeler most likely, as long as they pulled over and were fully on the shoulder lane, that's probably appropriate. We'll need to find out if they put any kind of flares or markers out. And I know there was an exit that was coming up, just very, very close to where that 18-wheeler had stopped. But we could all investigate that after the fact. At the end of the day, nothing could replace our deputies. So I don't have any information on the driver of the 18-wheeler at this point.
Was he in the vehicle?
I'm not sure. I haven't been. I don't have that information at this
Was
time.
it the far right shoulder?
Inside shoulder? Yeah, far inside shoulder. Yeah. So it would have been the driver's side of our deputy's vehicle that struck the rear of the clip, the rear of the 18-wheeler.
So the left shoulder?
The left shoulder, yeah, the inside shoulder, correct.
And the 18-wheeler was stopped?
Yes.
Not just stopped.
Parked. Yeah, I had parked. Yeah. La troca, el camión estaba en un lado, no sé cómo se dice shoulder, pero en la vía que está separada de las carreteras principales, y el oficial de nosotros parece ser que tuvo el impacto en el lado del conductor. No sabemos si estaba el conductor del camión dentro de la troca o no, esos detalles no lo sé, no sé los detalles del conductor.
It looks like everything happened pretty quickly this afternoon. Was he still alive when he arrived at the hospital, or was he pronounced?
It was a devastating impact. It seemed like it happened pretty quickly. Obviously, they're going to try every life-saving measure. They have the best medical doctors, and our team worked feverishly to get him here as quickly as possible. But he was pretty wounded, seriously wounded. So it seems like it would have been pretty close to the impact. I'm not a doctor, and obviously we'll leave it to the medical examiners to make those determinations. But it seemed like they were no signs of life pretty quickly on, so I think it happened very quickly.
Sheriff, we understand you spoke to the family. Can you just talk to us about another private, intimate moments? We don't need to know the details, but just having to work. I'm assuming that is one of the worst things about this job, is having to notify the family that this has happened.
It is. The worst part is notifying the family and witnessing their heartbreak. That's just no words for that. I mean, it never gets easy, no matter how many times we do it. Each family grieves differently. This family is extremely devastated. Just listening to that story, that playing with a 2-year-old, it's something we could all relate to at one point in our careers or another. And he was working, and others that said, he called me today and I didn't get a chance to call him back, and those are their final moments that they remember, and they're devastated, and nothing could bring them back. And all we could do is do what we do. As Chief Satterwhite says, we suit up, we go back out there and do it again, and try to aspire to live as they lived, which was to continue to give to their community, and that's what we're going to continue to do here.
And just to confirm, he only has one daughter, a 2-year-old?
He has a 2-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. Yeah. He was grew up in the Jersey Village area, and went to Cywoods High School, I believe.
He's local.
Yeah, local. Yeah, local, native of Harris County. So
Leaves behind a wife and 2 children?
yes, he's behind a wife and 2 children, and a mother and a sister, and a mother and father, and extended family is here as well.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate